For the new board members, we asked the parent organizations to annually come up and make presentations to the board and in essence to the public on their accomplishments for the year, their annual reports, to discuss their organization. And we're at this time of the year to have them come forward. So the first one up is the Boosters Club. They would come forward and discuss.
So about in one of my first years as a superintendent, the board was reviewing our parent groups, and so we have board policy 8:90, and basically what that lays out is for our groups that use the Riverside Brookfield High School name, like Booster Club, music sponsors, PTO, and the Riverside Brookfield Education Foundation. It basically lays out the guidelines that the board would like to see follow. Having a website, having your financials posted on that website, your bylaws, and those things. So one of the things that we have, the parent groups comes once a year to just make sure they're in compliance with board policy 890. Sorry, Seth.
No, that's okay. We will find our bank statements out there, and the reconciliations will all be on our website, okay, on a monthly basis. This is kind of a rebuilding year for us. It's kind of been in limbo for the past couple of years. So we were able to double our sport requests from last year. So we have funded over $18,000 back to the sport programs at school. And they vary from general to football to wrestling to basketball, soccer, gym, a little bit for everybody. So we were able to do that. We also purchased new equipment this year, a new popcorn machine for indoor concessions, a new cheese machine, a pretzel machine, and 2 of the big grills for outdoors. So they should be good going forward. We also sponsored a hot dog night for the Junior Bulldogs. And we only have one issue. We have a mouse problem in the storage room. I don't know what we can do about it. We lost about $800 worth of product, at least.
Where's the storage room?
In the storage room.
Where is it?
Indoor concessions.
Yeah.
So it's indoor.
Oh.
So the indoor one by the basketball court, there's a storage room in the back. The mice love the chips and the chocolate candy and the expensive items. So if there's any way to maybe eradicate that or help them next year with that, that would be something that would be, kind of nice.
Store them off the floor?
We do store them. We have racks. Mice climb.
Yeah, they have to be in
So-
a closed container.
Yeah, I mean, if there could be, well, we did start using plastic containers.
Okay.
But, that doesn't give us a lot of room for storage.
Right.
Okay, so that was the only one issue we had. We did elect new officers at last Thursday's meeting. Next year's president is Tom Hartwig. Vice president is Brian Toomey. Treasurer is Kathy Keene. And the secretary is Kathy Alarcon. Those will be your new board members. The other thing is our name is changed to the RB Parent Sports Club, Inc. The reason for this is my predecessor had not filed any taxes for over 2 years. In order to alleviate any situation or any problems with that, we are working with the Parent Booster USA, and they will in fact be doing our taxes, and they will be doing all the forms and everything. So per their suggestion, they said, change your name, just start all over new. We have a new EIN, everything is new. So that'll be something going forward too for the new.
What's the name again?
It's RB Parent Sports Club, Inc. So there is an EIN number out there. All the paperwork is out there. Paperwork will be passed on, to the new board and everything. So
So
and
you
no
will be a
form-
501c3.
It is a 501c3. It is filed with the state of Illinois. It has been already done with the state. I make sure that everything is done. So they should be all set to go.
Going forward, could that be put on the website also, the filing?
The filing, that's fine.
Yeah, could you?
If you want to put it out there. You want to put the EIN number and everything out there too?
I don't know, when did you see what
I think
would be, you could hide certain areas once you'd see if at least.
Some people suggest not to do that,
Yeah.
not to put that number out there because it's accessible to anybody and everybody. There are certain things that probably shouldn't be put out there, so I leave that up to whomever.
The monthly, quarterly financials, you said those will be updated on the webpage here shortly?
Yeah, that's, Alan Paluski should be doing that.
Okay, and then a copy of the annual IRS 990. And so that's what you're working on with this?
Yeah, if you want that
To
out
get
there, we
that
can put
adjusted
that
in the
out there
system.
too.
Yes, that's something that's required by
Right.
the board policy.
Okay.
So if some of that's got to be redacted, like the actual
Right,
IEN number, I don't
be
care if that's blacked
blacked
out,
out.
just so
Oh,
people
okay,
can see.
all right, well, then that's fine.
The idea was, when this started several years ago, was just transparency, so the community can see money's in, money's out,
That's fine.
and all that.
We can put that out there too. I'll just probably black that out or
Yeah.
tell Alan to black it out when she puts it out there.
So Kevin, can we get kind of like a little support for them, like a little news flash, our name has changed or something? I imagine many people will be looking, where's the Boosters Club?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
just-
that we can
we
update that, the link on the webpage still.
Yeah,
to
they
the
can do
booster.
that. I mean, we still operate under the guise of the Booster Club. It's
Right.
just, technically, it's just a formality. Nothing's technically changed other than,
Also, you're gonna like do you have a new corporate name, but you're gonna like do business as still RBH
Yeah,
Boosters
I mean,
Club.
the
You're still
reason-
gonna use that name?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
people are still calling it the Booster Club. It's a technicality due to the fact that I had no idea that this predecessor did not file the taxes, so that's why I'm letting all of you know in case anything comes up, well, who's RB Parent Sports Club? So
Okay.
you're
Got it.
aware of this. But it is technically still the Booster Club.
Yeah, so maybe in our, like our newsletter, Kevin and Kristen, that you put out, maybe we can have a little blurb, just, an updated.
They're not gonna use the name, though.
Well, but it will be on their tax documents, and if somebody sees that, just so that the question is very clear and transparent again.
We could update it. Whatever
Yeah.
they send us, we can include in the newsletter or whatever
Yeah.
they want to
I mean,
put
I'm
on
going to kind of leave that up to the new regime as to how they want to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's easier personally to leave it as the Booster Club because it's known as a Booster Club.
Right.
And it is a Booster Club. This is more for the behind the scenes, like the filing of the taxes, the.
501c3.
Exactly. It's all for that purpose. So for all intent and purposes, it is still a Booster Club.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay?
Next up, the PTO.
Thank you for submitting that something ahead of
I'm
time.
going to sit. You're welcome.
Cindy was welcome to sit. She didn't choose.
My name's Mary Ellen Mindel, and I'm the president of the PTO this year. I'm very fortunate that the PTO group before me left us everything up to date, files and all that, because I had not been involved, but they asked me to be president, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. So it's been an interesting year with a lot of really good people. Our membership is down. But we were able to make up funds in other areas. That's a growing concern that less families join the PTO, and I don't know the answer to that. All I know is the group that's with us are making it work, and we're able to fund everything that we want to fund. Unfortunately, I don't know why we have less people. I haven't been able to figure that out. You have the information on our finances, so I don't think I need to go into that. We actually had more money to work with this year than we did last year, even though we had less families. And that came in the way of some other ways we were able to make funds. Some highlights, we did the freshman family welcome, which I did not attend with my freshman when he was a freshman, but it's a nice way for parents and their students to come into the school the week before school starts and be in the school without everybody there and just get to know the school a little bit. The parents get to hear about the different organizations. We invite boosters, we the music group, there's the guidance counselors are there. Ms. Smetana gives a presentation, and then the kids go on a scavenger hunt with the Student Association, which we organize. So they get around the school, they get to see where everything is before school starts. That's an interesting thing. We were able to fund $3,100 in staff grants for a variety of different things. I think you have the details in your report, so I don't need to just go into those. New this year, we did do a summer student enrichment grant. We gave students the opportunity to an academic-based or leadership-based summer program, and we were able to award 12 scholarships between $50 and $300. They had to get a letter of recommendation, and they wrote about what they wanted to do, but it was a way for us to be able to give some funds to the students. So we did staff grants, student grants. We did some presentations this year, trying to get more parents to come to the meetings. We had Dr. Skinkis to talk about what's happening in RB at 16-17. We had Mr. Mannon talk about the HERO program. And we did, Ms. Montana talked about summer opportunities that were available for kids, and that one was well attended, and people were very interested in that. We did the RB Boutique Flash Sale, which was fun. Our predecessors had made it very ornate, and they spent some money to put it together, and I am pretty simple in how I try to plan things. So we did it at school. We did it in the commons area. We had Mr. Weishar, who's a construction technology teacher, work with some of his students to make racks for us that are stored in the basement that we can use in the future. So it cost us a one-time, the racks, and then we're able to offer this, and then people drop off donations, and it was well attended. You know, it's not so much the money that we make, but it's just being able to offer dresses. One of the girls that was here from Student Association wore it to prom, and I saw another one. It's a fun way to get people, to girls to be able to buy a dress for $5 or $10 and be part of it. We had Trinity's music department or theater department came by, and they bought 30 gowns for their Cinderella production. So it's a nice thing that didn't cost us a lot to do, and we did it before prom, before homecoming, before prom, because it didn't cost us anything. It was not a lot of manpower, which is really important to have. Not a lot of manpower, make it easy and make a lot of people involved. So that was something different that we did that we enjoyed. Day of service went really well. We crossed our fingers, the weather cooperated, rain started right as the last kids were coming in the school. And the Day of Service Committee was, there were two parents that were really involved, and they believe it's the most visible demonstration of our students giving back to the community. And there were 347 students that signed up, and we had more staff volunteers than we've ever had before. So we made it a concerted effort to go to a staff meeting and to try to promote it, to try to get more staff, because when the staff show up, the students show up, because they want to be part of their group. So it was, I thought it was a great event for us. There were a lot of people that sponsored us, so that was great. And since my son is going to be a senior this coming year, I decided to stay on as president. I thought just 2 years will make it easy. And we have mostly the same people coming back, and we have just 2 people, so I think it'll lead to continuity for the PTO. It's a great organization. I think we support the school in a lot of different ways, and it's fun. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Next, the music sponsors.
Thank you for having us. I am Stephanie Harry. I am the incoming president.
I'm Terry Marsh-Souders, Vice President.
So the Music Sponsors is a parent organization that promotes the activities of the music department and helps students and music directors. We encourage and maintain an enthusiastic interest in all the aspects of the music programs. We maintain communication and cooperation between parents, administration, staff, and school board. So the officers for the 17-18 school year, myself as president, Terry vice president, Anne Marie Dixon is the treasurer, and Brenda Monty is the secretary. We have about 76 member families this year, so close to about half the students in the music department. Well, it's a pretty good number. We would like to see that number increase next year. So in the course of the year, we provide awards and scholarships to music students. We provide fundraising opportunities that benefit the department and that can offset the cost of music department trips for students. We provide support for the marching band by helping with uniforms, providing water in the stands and at parades, and we provide refreshments for summer band camp. We also organize many receptions after a lot of the musical performances. We just had our yearly Apollo Awards, and we provided the awards, senior T-shirts, and we awarded 10 students each a $200 scholarship. This is to use for summer music lessons, music classes, or other music activities. We also send the 2 new 17-18 drum majors to camp in the summer. The camp cost for both students is around $1,600. We gave Boy Scout and band member Robert Dunn a $100 donation towards his Eagle project of making cabinets to display some of the historical RB marching band uniforms. I don't know if any of you had a chance to go in there and look at it. It's really he did a nice job. We gave a $150 donation to the Color Guard to help defray the cost of some new flag equipment. And we provided the music department teachers $700 to fund end-of-the-year T-shirts, and we paid for a bus for jazz band to go to Oswego to perform with the Vern Spivak Band. And I didn't attend, but I heard it was very nice. So on the front page of your handout is our FY17 financial summary, and you've probably seen the full report is on page 2. So we started the year with around $7,200. Our revenue from membership, cheesecake sales, and a few small fundraisers came to about $4,200. Since there was no music department trip, we didn't undertake any additional fundraising. And the revenue from fundraising we did was somewhat down, probably due to no trip offsetting incentives for the students. So our expenses for the year will run around $8,200 once all the bills from Apollo Awards and scholarships are paid out. So we're looking to start FY18 with a little over $3,000 in the bank. I think one of the points that we were asked to update on is the website. We do now have a public website that has some general information, agendas, minutes. There's a link to it from the parent organization page.
That's great. That's perfect.
You might repeat, I missed one. How many students did you say participated in music courses here? I thought you said.
We had about 76 member student families.
Okay.
So
We have lots that are multiple programs or multiple kids.
I'm sorry, I missed
maybe
it.
around 150 to 200.
Okay. Thank you.
This is perfect, and your website's up, and you have all this on there.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you very much.
your time you donate.
And finally, the Educational Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the president of our foundation is Mr. Jim Franco, also a guidance counselor at Riverside Brookfield. So he wears two hats.
That's right. That's right.
He's in the building.
So this is my first year as the RBF president, taking over for Tony Mazio, and then Rick's the treasurer for the RBF. So I won't really read off, what's on the paper. I have a couple people like Tony and his daughter Sam are leaving the board, and Doug Hopek as well is leaving the board. But looks like we have like 3 people that are going to come on. Our board can be as big as 11, so we'd be at 10. And we'd love to be at 11. I mean, the more people we can have helping us out, the better. So the Educational Foundation, I don't know, I'm assuming everybody knows about it, but I guess I'll just talk about it real quick. So basically our big event is the telethon. We do it basically we did it in March this year. It was February. We'll probably stick with March from here on out. And the money we raise from the telethon, students and staff can apply for grants for professional development, for the students, workshops that they might be interested in. So like this year, some of the grants that students requested were, so there was like, for example, Jostens, the yearbook, who does the yearbook, they have a camp every summer, and I think 6 people from Rouser are going to that camp, and it's like $250 for each of them to go. So that's an example of something we funded. We have a student going to a Hubbard Street camp. I forget how much that was, but that was some of them. So sometimes students want to do things that are as much as $3,000, $4,000, and what we try to do is kind of give, try to meet their demand, up to a certain level. And so $4,000 is a lot. So like a lot of those students, if they were at like $1,000 or above, we were able to give them about $700, $800. So basically with the money raised from the telethon. And so this year, basically about $23,000. And then we have carryover kind of every year from people not using the grants. We try to minimize that as much as possible and give out everything that is pledged. So that's kind of where those numbers came in at. Yeah, I mean, overall, I felt like it was a pretty successful year. It's been interesting to kind of see things from this end of things. I mean, I think there's still a lot of potential. I mean, we were pretty happy with our numbers, but it's, I guess, like one thing I think we would like to do is a lot of what we know about it, it's all like oral history. So like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this. We don't have anything that's like sitting down and writing in terms of this is what you need to do for if you want to, this is how you get premiums. Here's the letter that we would send out to try to get premiums. We need somebody in charge of the food for the day of the telethon. So that's an example of something that like I would like to see us improve on in the coming years, so that in going down the line, that somebody basically, like, this is the handbook of the RBEF, and you can go to whatever page and find out exactly what you need to do, because there's a fair amount of turnover. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 years or so it's a completely different board on the RBEF. So it's been going since I think 1990, roughly 1989. So we're in that neighborhood, and yeah. So
I would say also certainly one of the focuses we want to have moving forward is corporate sponsorships. You can collect a lot of $10, $20, $50 checks, but if you get somebody to give you $1,000, $2,000, or $5,000, it moves the needle a lot faster. So certainly we want to look at that a lot more and see if we can bump up the amount of money that gets pledged and collected. I'll also say the students came up with some great things. I mean, they're doing stuff from music camps to technology to art to third world country water projects. It's amazing the things they came up with that they're doing. So it's pretty cool to look at and very engaged and doing a lot of neat things. So it's good to be able to support that.
Website? What all the kids are doing?
the grant recipients, we haven't been putting it up there.
We'd have to doctor that spreadsheet because it's got all this personal information on it.
But I would say, I think one thing we do a poor job, that we need to do a better job of, is, like, I was like sitting back there, I'm like, gosh, if the board knew, the board being you, if you knew what some of these kids were doing, like, I think it would be good publicity for us, it'd be good for the community. And I feel like we're an underutilized resource a bit. Even so, like, with this, roughly, there's probably about $55,000 requested. So there's definitely more of a demand there, and I think there's more people out there. But I tell you one thing too, for me, it's so nice sitting to a kid that doesn't, and I'm talking to a kid in my office, it doesn't have resources, and they want to, like, one girl wanted to go to the National Hispanic Institute, and I was like, oh, you don't have, money's not necessarily an excuse. Like, you want to do this, you can make this happen. I mean, that's pretty powerful from my perspective. So I appreciate that, in my day-to-day job too. So.
Do you have anyone that's a liaison or has a relationship with any of the Chamber of Commerces in the 3 or 4 towns that?
We don't.
Well, we have Joanne Cozy.
Joanne knows a lot of people.
Yes, she
I would
does.
say too, it's like there's so many things that I think could be done, right? And you start to dream a little bit, like, hey, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. But there's also the reality of it's a nonprofit volunteer board, right? And it's like, if people are investing their time. So there's things like that, right? Yeah, or you could be talking to a lot more businesses, those kinds of things. So we don't.
I know that was brought up, that's why I asked,
Yeah.
right? That you would like to see some businesses have a bigger role in the fundraising.
Yeah.
Is there like one group of students that generally applies more, like juniors or sophomores or something like that, at grade level, or is it just?
Seniors are out.
Yeah, right, they're done,
So,
they're gone.
yeah, I would say pretty much across the board.
It seems like because they come back on the following telethon and they work the phone bank, and they get interviewed on camera. So that's part of their obligation to us. So.
Jim, we do pay for, the school district does pay for the membership for Brookfield Chamber of Commerce, Ronnie Carey serves as my representative on that because we do a lot with our transition students.
Okay, yeah.
And so maybe we can talk we're hosting a Chamber of Commerce luncheon next fall in September. And so maybe if the RBF wanted to have a flyer or promoting their telethon, it might be an opportunity to establish a few relationships with some more local businesses.
Okay.
I've worked the telethon every year. You have a lot of our local businesses already donating or participating and providing donations of food and stuff, but
So just ask you about that?
yeah, I think Ronnie is nice. Ronnie Carey serves as my liaison because she attends more of the meetings because she's working with finding those students jobs, and so but we do pay for a membership for the district to belong to the chamber.
Okay.
So next time we're going to host a luncheon next fall. You guys can attend and promote the telethon, and if you want to do that, or maybe go to a chamber meeting on a regular basis, or when it gets closer with Ronnie, just to meet some other people.
Definitely.
It's something we can discuss more.
Okay.
Could I ask you about on your bank accounts, monthly financial report, you have what appear to be a general fund, then you have 4 specific scholarship funds. How are those scholarship funds earmarked or special use? Are there specific limitations, and could you explain each of them?
Yes, are specific for each one, and I'll let you take that one.
So
These are voted on by the teachers or given by the teachers.
right. So the first is that for a senior tennis player, female, and the tennis coach, we kind of hold the funds, but he decides who the recipient of that is. And then the GWIN is for a student, and the students apply for the GWIN business and somebody's going to study business or finance. I'm trying to think who decides the GWIN. I'm not sure.
Must be one of the teachers decides it.
And then the Otto Hock is somebody that's going to study industrial arts, and so the applied arts department decides the winner of that.
Okay.
So these are basically funded by families that,
So you serve
for the
as the
specific
gatekeeper of the
purposes, and
funds.
we hold them separate for that. And then the other one is a special gift fund, so people can come to us for a special gift, and if the board approves it,
Okay.
we can give the gift out of
The
that
high note,
fund.
yeah.
The high
Now,
note.
are these 4 that have the specific name, are they being replenished, or are they just going to whittle?
Well, in today's
Right, with no interest. and
low
no-
interest
right.
rates, and we have to, obviously, we can't invest in anything.
Right.
So the first fund is being actively funded by the First Family. In fact, this year, in the last month, they gave us an additional $3,500 to fund that. The GWIN looks like it's going to go away. I mean, it's a $500 gift, so we have this next year and then a partial, which we probably will bring up to $500 out of the special gift fund, and that one will be done.
Okay,
So there'll be the 3 left standing.
all right. Thank you.
And the 990 you provided, Jim, this just shows that you will be filing, that you are recorded and you'll be filing.
Yes.
Okay. And then you'll eventually post it on the website when it's completed.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. That concludes the parent organization reports.
I think it's important before we move on, just so I know we got to thank.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of time, so thank you very much to everybody that showed up tonight, and so the board understands, and some of the new board members understands, it has run a lot smoother over the last several years. By just having them come once a year to report out, here's the monies we collected, here's the monies that went out, here's our 990, here's our website. It's helped with transparency significantly, and it's put to rest some issues that were concerns in the past. So, but just so it's on TV, I'd like to thank everybody that volunteers for these clubs and their time and all their donations, etc. So thank you very much from the school side.